Before say, okay, may finish it and let us know. There was some few minutes. Then discuss here. And so be at sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the last time we left from here, where we created these divs containers, one for day, one for hour, one for minute, and one for second. Right. So today we need to go back to our JavaScript and see how we can do the calculations over there and slot them here. Okay. After slotting them, we're supposed to go ahead and just make them active so that we can be seeing the seconds moving. And when it gets to 60 seconds, it's supposed to change the minute. When the minute gets to the peak, which is 60 minutes, how many minutes? Make 1 hour. In 60 minutes, right? Then to jump to hour. Then the same way to jump to our day. This thing will cut, then we'll come back. Okay. So first thing, once we've linked our CSS and our JavaScript to our HTML, these elements, okay, you're supposed to catch them in HTML. Sorry, in JavaScript, you're supposed to catch these IDs. All of them has an ID. Day has an ID, hour has an ID, minute has an ID, seconds too has an ID. So we are going to work with their IDs. So we're supposed to grab their IDs in our JavaScript. Okay. So when we go back to our JavaScript, if you can see, recall, let me make this one smaller. Make this guy too smaller. Okay. So if you can check here, okay. I think we are all conversant with this one. How to declare a variable. All right. So we declare a variable, call it seconds element. Okay. That means we're going to grab the seconds ID and slot it there. So this is how we go about it. So that's document dot. I think this one you're not okay with it, but it's a function, inbuilt function that will help you grab that element ID. Okay. So we call it document dot get element by ID. Okay. It's a function. So you just put the ID as a string. Okay. So when we go to our HTML, where is our seconds? Seconds ID is what? Seconds. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? This is the ID that we are grabbing. Okay. I hope it's clear. Please mute yourself. Or I'll mute you myself. Sorry. I hope this one is understanding, right? We are grabbing the elements ID so that we can hold them in this seconds element. Understand? We're putting them in a variable. We grab them by this function. Okay. Then we put the ID here. Then we assign it by using the assignment operator. So now this is where the element is. The ID of the element seconds is. It's understanding, right? It's understanding, right?
Yeah, man.
So the same thing. Document dot get element by ID of a minute. So now we are grabbing the minute two inside what? Minute element. We just give it a name. You can give it any name. It depends on you. You can just give it any name. Because this is what you use for your calculations. This is the variable that will be holding the values before you can slot them inside your HTML. Okay. So all the IDs, we grab all the IDs. We grab all the IDs. We grab all the IDs of these elements. So that is it. We grab the first 1 second, we grab the minute, we grab the hour, and then we grab the day. So we have them here. You understand? And we assign them by using document.get element by ID. We are getting the element by ID, then we slot it here. We get the element by ID of the second minute, then we slot it here. We get the element by hour, then we slot it here. We get the element by the day, then we slot it here. It's understanding, right?
The document get element. How do you get it?
And that's the function. It's inbuilt function. So you just put the document dot get element by ID. Then you just put the ID of the HTML, the IDs of the HTML, which is the minute, you understand, seconds, hour, and the day. You just grab them here. So automatically it will be inside this. Okay, we are all inside this. Okay, we are all inside this. We are all inside this. Let me mute this guy. Prince, mute yourself. I'm muting. All right. Okay. I hope I hope these ones are okay. Today, Johnson, Ken.
Okay.
Okay, so we've grabbed the element. Now we have the elements inside our JavaScript. So what are we going to do with the elements? Okay, we're supposed to put values there, right? But before we put the values, we're supposed to do some calculations. So we have a function here, a simple function. Okay, we have a simple function here, and we all know how to declare a function. And we call the function down here. Have you seen it? Count down. So we just declare a function and we call the function. This function is not taking any input. If you know, it's not taking any input. So it's like declaring a function and tell the function to print something for you. Like the way we used to do it, console.log time. You understand? You just declare a function and you tell the function to just console.log your name for you. This is a typical example of what we've done. Just make a function countdown. So inside the function countdown, that is where we will do the calculations and give it to this element to display. You understand? We will do our calculations in here and give it to these elements to display them on our screen for us. You understand? Okay. So what are we doing here now? What are we doing? We want to get a date, upcoming date. Okay, we are doing a countdown from now till 2022, 1st January 2022. So what do? I need to grab that date. Okay, the future date. So this is the future date. This is the future date. Okay, 2000. That's 1st January 2022. Okay, and I put them in a variable. See, I'm putting that date in a variable called target year. You can call it anything. You know how to declare a variable, so it's okay. It's target year. You understand? Okay. So when I get inside the variable, that target year, I'm trying to make it a date. I'm trying to change the date format. So I will put new date and put whatever string value I'm putting inside so that I can use it for calculations. You understand? Then there's another one too here. New whenever you say new date without any parameter, it gives you the current date. Understand? It gives you a current date. We can just experiment with some of these ones. So let's see. Let's go down here. Let's go to our console. Now we say we have a new date, right? This is new date, and we're putting the new date in this current date. So let's see if we are getting what we want. So console CLG. Okay, let's put this guy here. You see, we are getting today's date. Have you seen it? We are getting today's date. You understand? Yeah. So whenever you said new date, okay, without any a parameter, okay,
yeah,
it gives you the current date, okay. But look at this one. I said new date, but I've given it a date that I want. I've given it a date that I want, which is what? 1st January 2022. Understand? Now we have two dates. So if you want to do calculation, it's very easy for us to do our calculation. We have a future date, which is a target date, and we have what? A current date, which is now. Okay. So if you want to do a simple calculation, we can just subtract current. We can just subtract previous date from the current date, or is it target date, then from current date, and we'll get a difference. Very simple. You understand?
Okay. So today's date minus 3rd January 2022.
That's right. Future date. You understand? You will get some value, and we can work around those values. It's understanding, right?
Oh.
Oh,
yeah, we did.
Is it okay or? I should go over. You should try.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, go over.
So simple thing, okay. We have a future date. What are we doing? We're trying to do a countdown. We're trying to do a countdown. We want to count down a date. So we have a set date, which is 2022, which is 1st January. That's our target date. Okay, so we have to do a countdown from today. Okay. And we know in a leap year, we have, in a year, we have for 360 something, 60 something, 50 something days. So we are counting it that we are reducing the date, okay, to 0. So this is our target date, okay. And I've put in the target date in a variable called target year, okay, outside. So when I get into the function, that target date, okay, so which I've already set it to 1st January 2021, sorry, 2022, okay, that's a target year, okay. In JavaScript, whenever you say new year without any parameter, it will give you the current year, the date and everything, to give you everything. Current day, year, day, month, and everything to give you. Understand? So if you give it a parameter, which is 1st January 2022, okay, it will give you that date. So now we have our target year date, and we have our current date too. You understand? So now we have 2 values to work with. I think it makes sense, right? It makes sense, right?
More harmonious.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 2 dates. Okay, the future date and the now. So we can do some calculations around these 2 figures, right?
Okay, question. First target date.
Yeah.
The function inside the function.
Okay, so the function, yeah, target year date.
Right? You have target date, target year date, and current date.
And current date, yeah.
What's the difference?
So this is 2020. This is 1st January 2022. This date is 1st January 2022, and this date is now, and this current date is now.
Okay.
Understand? So we have 2 figures to work with. We have future date, which is 2022. Then we have now, which is 2021. Makes sense, right? So now you know how to get a date. Anytime you say new date, it gives you the current date. If you don't add your parameter, you don't give it a parameter. Understand?
Yep.
Good. Can we continue?
Encore.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Omani, Eko Yemboa, day. Good. Okay, so now before we can do any calculations, any of the calculations, we're supposed to get the total seconds. Okay, when we subtract the current date from the future date, we're supposed to get the seconds. Then we can work around that seconds. We can use that seconds to do a lot of calculations. So we have total seconds. So I've created a basket called total seconds. You know how to create a variable. Okay, so we created a basket called total seconds. That means we're converting everything, all the figures, to seconds. So the target year, which is 2022, minus the current date, which is 2021. Okay, divided by 1,000, you have total seconds to work with. So out of these total seconds, we can use this one to do our calculations. I got this one from the internet. All these formulas. So seconds divided by 3,600 divided by 24 will give us what? A day. So we are converting that seconds into days.
Please, before you continue from there, where from that 1,000?
It's part of the formula. It's like telling me that I need a it's like 10 modulo 2. The 2 you cannot ask. The 2 is a constant. When you divide it by 1,000, that is when you get all seconds. When you subtract the
It's a formula.
It's a formula. It's part of the formula.
Okay.
You understand?
This one is massive.
But it's a fixed formula. Like you can Google it from the internet and it will give you. If I want to convert seconds to days, you want to convert seconds to hours, you want to convert seconds to minutes. You understand? It's a formula. It's a formula. So yeah, it's a fixed formula. You understand?
Okay.
So once you have your total seconds, yeah. So once you have your total seconds, you can work around it. Okay. So the same thing. I'll take that total seconds, divide it by 3,600, and divide it again by 24 hours for me to get my days. You understand?
Yeah.
If there is any fraction, like any fraction, I'll use this mass.floor, okay, to make it a whole number, like to floor it. So let's say if you have something like let's say 65 or 652 points, something like this. Okay, I will just chop off these ones without mass.floor. Okay, it's inbuilt function. We will learn much about mass.floor when we started doing our JavaScript. Okay, so it will chop off and just give you 652. So that's the basic explanation I can give you. Okay, mass.floor is trying to make it a whole number for you, like slash all the fractions, take it off for you, so that we can have our correct values. I don't know if it's making sense. So it's an inbuilt function called mass.floor. So whatever value you get, just floor it for me. Take off all this 0.0 thing. Take it off. Just give me the actual figure. I hope that part is understanding. Yeah.
Mass.floor.
Yeah, mass.floor. It will just chop it and just give you only. You understand? To floor it for you.
Question. So the inbuilt functions, you can't know all of them until you.
No, you just use them. You
start doing something before you know them.
Yeah, some of them we need to learn them. We have a lot of them that we will learn. Mass.floor is one of them. The split, which is for arrays, the pop, the push, a lot of them. Okay, we call something reduce. You see the inbuilt function, there are many. You can just Google them and just so as and when you need them, you use it. I don't have everything in my head. You can't learn all of them, but as and when you need it, you just use it. You understand? So we will learn some of them along the journey. So this is the best case that we can use this mass.floor. The same way about this new date. The best time to learn the new date is today. That anytime you say new date, it gives you the current date. Okay. Then you have a value to work with. So either you give it a parameter, you give it your own date, or you leave it like that. If you leave it like that, it will give you the current date. If you give it a parameter, it will pick that parameter and make it a date for you. Very simple. You understand?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, Johnson, Day, Ike,
Yeah.
George. Is that Goma?
Yeah.
So this is all about getting the date, the year,
Yes.
the seconds.
That's it.
The time.
Yes, get everything ready. That's all.
You can Google it and get those calculations.
You can you can Google them and get the calculations.
So all you have to know is how to put them. Create a variable function and keep them inside or something.
All is to create a variable here. Okay? And just do your calculations and slot it inside. That's all. So you create your basket, you do your calculations and slot it there. You create your basket, you do your calculation, slot it there. You create your basket, you do your calculation, give it to mass.floor, slot it there. You understand? It makes sense, right? It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Johnson, Ekoye, Ken.
Yeah, Ekoye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Johnson, Ekoye on.
Yeah, Ekoye.
Okay. All right.
Ekoye.
Okay.
This seconds dot inner dot HTML, what does it do?
And that's what we're about to tackle now. We finished with the first one, so we're about to tackle this one. So in order to slot those values inside here, okay, that's when you use these elements. So you grab the elements. Remember the element that we grab at the top. Now it's time to use them. So seconds element, you remember? We grab it by the ID. So now we will slot it inside this one. Understand? So when you take this calculation, this basket that you created and you put in a value inside, and said element, a seconds element dot inner HTML equals to the value. So this is how you slot them. So you slot the second, you slot the minute, you slot the hour, you slot the day. You see. So let's assume that we want to make a mistake. Let's make a mistake and slot the seconds in a day. You understand? Let's pick the seconds value, okay, and slot it in a day, and you see what will happen. You see? So now this one has changed to seconds. This one has changed to seconds. You see? You understand?
Yeah.
If you made a mistake and drop it, give it to the minute, and give it to the hour. You see, all of them will be seconds. You understand?
Yeah.
All of them will be seconds.
Okay.
So let's replace everything.
So basically, what does the inner HTML does?
That is it. You have to inner HTML equals to the value. So you're telling it that you're telling the element that when you take the ID and you say inner HTML, which is this element, inner HTML element, which is this one, you want to put the value here. You want to take off the 0 and put a value there. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
You grab it here by the ID. Okay? You grab it here by the ID. So this is it. So this is the container you've created. So take this container and tell it that I want you to put it inside the inner HTML. And where is the inner HTML? This is the inner HTML. Okay? You grab the ID, okay, and you give it a variable and you say give it to the inner HTML, which is here.
Okay.
You understand? So you just slot it here. Slot it at the inner HTML. Inner HTML. Okay.
So basically, it means put it in between that.
Yes. Where
So
the element is,
that section is the inner HTML.
That's right. Inner of the element. Can't you see something?
Yes.
Yeah. That is the when you create a p tag. Let's create another p tag here. Okay, p tag. In between the p tag is the inner HTML.
Inner HTML.
Yeah.
Yes.
You understand? The in between the p tag is the inner HTML. You understand? Yeah.
Because inner HTML just like that.
That's the inner HTML. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think it's understanding, right?
Mm-hmm.
So take it and just slot it inside the inner HTML. That's all. So once you slot it there, it's working.
Okay.
So have you seen something? I've seen time interval. I mean set intervals counter. Okay. So I'm trying to tell this program that every second I want you to refresh the page. Let's see if we shut this one down. Let's shut it down. That's it. It will not refresh.
Everything stops.
Everything stops. But it's working. It's working behind scenes, but the page is not refreshing.
Okay.
So if I refresh the page myself manually, you see it has changed. But I want it to be automatic. I want it to be moving by itself automatically. Move. You understand? So you just set intervals, counter, then you give it a time. That's every second. Every second I want you to run. Every second I want you to run the function. You understand? So every second take this counter and run it. Okay. Every second take this counter, which is a function here, and run it. So I'm running the function every minute. Every minute I run it. Every minute I run it. That's all. That is what is happening. Every minute run. Every minute run. Every minute run. Understand?
Yeah.
So that is what is happening. So the most important thing is grab your elements, all the elements, put them in a variable so that you can work on it here. Once you grab them, you can use them, then use their inner HTML and put a value there. You understand? You can as well take off these seconds, okay, and just put 500 here. It's going to show 500. Have you seen 500 there? Take off this one and put another. You understand? It will show. You see? And just putting values there. That's all. It's nothing. Just putting values there. So, but these values are very hard. You understand? You're putting values there, but the values are just fixed. You understand? You want a dynamic value. That's why you're using this values. You understand? So it's the same thing. Okay, so let's repeat everything. That's all. We get back to understanding, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little piece that I want us to fix. We all try our hands on it and see if we can fix. Have we seen this value, these seconds? It's not nice to have a single value like that. You see, 3, 2. At least it's supposed to be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. You understand? So we need to write a function and just I don't know. If you can write a function and just use a function on them. How are we going to do this? So you know how to write a function, right? Somebody should help me. How do you write a function? How do you write a function? Be a function.
Write what function?
How to declare a function?
Maybe function. Example, function grid.
Okay, great. So let's make it format, right? Format. We want to format something. Format date.
Function format date.
Something like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you should take a parameter, right? How do you call a parameter? Let's call it anything. My format. And also. So what do you want to do? We want to add 0 to the value, right?
Okay.
So we can say return, right? I can say return. Then my function, my format.
My format equals
really. So let's say if my format is less than, if it's less than 10, okay. If it's less than 10, add 0 to my format. Else, leave it like that.
Okay.
Please, where from that $sign?
And the $sign is we call it I'm trying to put a variable here. I'm not even getting it right. I think I'm supposed to. Why is it giving me this? This is supposed to work. Declare or set methods. Function less than this. Add 0 to function. Let me click off this one. Anyway, you can leave it and then you will think about it. Let's leave it and we'll think about it. But I was trying to do something because the way it's coming 0, 0, 0 thing. I'll work on it. The next time when we come, then I'll teach you.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's supposed to work.
Please, why do you comment out console.log days, hours, minutes, and
Uh,
seconds?
which one? Okay, it's not part of it. When I was working on that, I was using it for testing, like I told you. Because console.log is your friend. You use it to do the debugging. So if you don't understand anything, just use it.
Okay.
If you are getting the right values and all that, like what we are facing now, I don't know why we are not getting the. Well, this thing's supposed to work. I don't know why. I don't know why it's not working. I don't know why. Oh, okay. I see. I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, this is the correct thing. Okay, why this one is giving me? Okay. Should do this string concatenation. Why this one? Do you think it will work? Well. All right, I'll work on it and bring it back. Something is not right. Something is not right.
Okay, but please, the video tomorrow morning sharp.
Okay, I will see.
All right.
All right. So if everything is understood, I think we can close, right?
It helps a lot, the video.
Any question or no question?
Small.
So let's ask questions. You can go back. Since we have little time, you can just use our two. Fix it. Any question about this? If the code is okay. You are grabbing your elements, putting them in a container. I mean, assigning them to a container. Use that container down here and slot your calculations. So all the calculations will be here. You put them two in a container. So the values in the container, you slot them inside the HTML elements that will grab up there. Yes, sir. Okay, any question?
Debut.
Go ye. Which my HTML now what grabbing element no. Now what the value be a shame or by maybe one second without using even formulas. You can slot it there.
Yeah.
It's normal. So you know how to put things on HTML elements. I think so it makes sense. So
Baba.
make sense. George. Johnson.
Yeah.
Sir.
Sir.
And then the way I'm going to cry, Katia now connect
Okay. But I think so when you're the fair idea about like how to slot the your values in HTML elements.
Yeah.
Yes.
But now I will look at the video.
Oh, okay.
We'll be better when so I'll look at
it. Better to me.
Well, mechanical whatever.
Fredo hug you. Oh, I know I froze a team viewer.
Be excited. Today you get to learn.
Oh, I know I froze a team viewer. Okay, so I think we will be going back to tomorrow. Are we meeting tomorrow? Tomorrow is Monday. Should we meet or we should rest? The look of things.
Why will say maybe Yankari meeting?
And so also I propose a meeting to be super candidate.
Yanka say.
I'm so be a second day. Yeah, sure. That means yes, almost second day. That means we should rest, yes. That's it.
What's
it?
No.
Are we meeting or we are closing?
Silence me concern. Silence me concern.
So you can say.
Hey,
That's what I'm trying to know.
that's what I'm trying to
Okay.
so that we can go and think about the code. I'll drop the code. I'll put the code inside there.
Okay.
You can even write the code. You can even write the code and just try your hands on console.log. I can try and console.log this one. Console.log there and see how the format, like how it will display on your console.log. That's it. That's what I did when I was doing. That's what I did. You see, I do the day, I do the hour, and you see, I was trying to check if the values are okay, and I even check it on the internet to confirm what they have on the internet, if our values are okay, and it was okay. You see, you have the day, you have the minute, seconds. You see, you can do similar thing. Yeah, just play with the data. That's all.
It will read normal.
Yeah.
What? Calm down, princess.
So I'll make make copy code and I'm paste you up with no mind.
Yeah, okay.
So that
Yes,
you
I
can have
can,
it.
actually.
Like do something. Oh, how do I do something? You can even open your FIFA. Not your interface, no. Now the ATM and CSS ID without JavaScript. That's what I do. Those times when I used to open interface, I just try to build it. And you're perfect. That's it. Just build whatever you see over there. If you are if your issue, I'll just call Charlie. The person is separate. But to me, separate. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, this is the mistake. This is the mistake. This is the mistake. Okay, then you move forward. Yes, and like I said, training about class, not coffee. Training about class, not coffee. Obey says, you cannot build anything. And when you build things, that's when you get excitement. Okay. When you build things, that's when you get excitement.
Yes, in this stage, now when you do.
Me say, I was trying to deploy some. Let me just me finish me up. When I finish, what you say? My okay. Me nyaj like.
Yes, in this stage, when you do, so why you be man? All right, I'm not about you.
Oh, sir, glass need me na me. Oh, okay. Me name my own. The camera man. I'm sure I do. I'm sure. So I beg, try and build something. Interface be able to be a simple be a try so build the asa. That's it.
Okay.
All right.
Man, punch here.
Let's call it a day. All right, John Kane.
Okay. You.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay.